Once they're up in that cupboard, I give them a little swirl every day, every other day, every week, hell, just whenever I remember, open it up. And after about a month, you'll see that most of that pepper matter will completely just disintegrate. And whenever I use up whatever garbage is in there, run it through the dishwasher, put that garden fresh in there. Hey everybody, Jason here. You found JTV Life. If you're new, please consider subscribing. I make videos every once in a while. Look, I ain't gonna promise you nothing. Kind of erratic. And when I get time, it's kind of here and there. But if it's something that I think is worth sharing, then I put a video out. And today, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm gonna show you how I've been whipping up some awesome hot sauces this season. Kind of ripping off the same exact method that Tabasco uses. Their world famous 3-ingredient hot sauce, pepper, salt, vinegar. I'm going to show you how I am doing it on a small scale with pretty good results, and I haven't gotten sick yet. Speaking of Tabasco, I got a Tabasco plant right here growing inside of an old Sears and Roebuck utility sink. Worked out pretty good this year. I've gotten a few crops off it. Not as good as my Everglades tomatoes, which are actually getting pecked apart by the mockingbirds, but I have a lot of fun watching them eat them, so whatever, they can have them. But these things have grown pretty well as well. Sunflower literally just bloomed the other day too. Really cool, man. It's summertime. And no, the burn on my arm is from the truck, not from the peppers. Just picked the Silverado up a couple weeks ago and changed the oil. And it was my first time changing the oil on it. I said, oh, that's a nice little spot to slide your arm through. Yeah, catalytic converter was right there. And since I like changing the oil on a warm car, I got a warm cat. The peppers I have growing are Datil peppers. They were brought over, I believe, by the Spanish to St. Augustine, Florida, way back in the day. Their scientific name is, I'll put it on the screen, it's like Chinese capsums or capsum Chinese. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I know about their biology. I mean, probably more, but I can't articulate it in a very educated way. But these are the peppers I'm growing. They're very, I guess, hard to get to sprout, hard to get to grow. You know, you can see they're very varied in their genetic makeup. I mean, these are even different sorts of colors and production and stuff. I bought 200 seeds from one vendor, 10 from another, and only got about 15 of them to sprout in a very controlled environment. And also in that environment, I ended up getting this to sprout, which was one of the 4 seeds that I picked out of a Carolina Reaper that a woman at a flea market gave me probably back in February. And I've gotten a few peppers out of there. I'm not going to eat them. I'm just going to save them for seed stock for next year when I hopefully have a little bit more room. Now that the lubers are starting to run out of stuff to eat, they are getting up in here, which is not like something that I really like, and I deal with them accordingly. But yeah, get a nice little flush of dattles on here. Let's go inside and I'll show you what I do with them after they grow. So check it out, man. Inside this cabinet, this is where I firm up all of my peppers. So we got some datil right here. I mean, this was the product of about 15 peppers. This is really the one that I want to get to grow high scale just because I love the flavor of it. And then here's some cayennes. I want to say the datils, between the few peppers, it was maybe 30 grams. And the it was closer to 60 for the cayennes. But basically all I do is I take the peppers, I cut the little green stem off the end, rinse them off real good in some warm water, weigh them. I add 3% of kosher salt per weight, and then I pack them in these little containers right here. And typically I don't really have a mold problem. I stir them up to get them aerated, get that salt in. I use kind of like just a traditional, with the blade spinning around, food processor, and I add the salt while I'm sort of processing it. It helps grind it up and get a little bit more of a paste than just flakes, which is what you want, because that's how Mr. Tabasco be getting all of his stuff. He gets it in just big old sacks of paste because it's all actually grown down in South America. The only thing they really still do in Louisiana is sort of their genetics program, and then the seed stock gets sent out all throughout the world, and paste just like this is returned to add to barrels. But since we're doing it in such a small little amount, there's not sort of that volume to surface area ratio. And these ferment up pretty quick, man. I'd say anywhere between 4 and 7 days. You just want to look out for a little bit of mold on top. You might get that. I've sort of become less and less overly cautious with really no change in results. If you do get a little mold on there, just take a clean spoon, scoop it off. If it seems like it's going to be a problem, you can always add an extra little layer of salt. When I made a bigger batch, I packed it all into a large container, something about this size right here, and I had 1 pound of habanero peppers, which filled it up to just a little under halfway. And then what I did was I stacked coffee filters on there and then packed it with salt. Since it was a larger amount, I didn't want it to go bunk. These inside these little 5-ounce soufflés was a lot easier for me to manage, and I'll put a link to those in the description below. After your peppers have been given a week or so to ferment, the next thing that we're gonna do, and this is just mirroring exactly what Tabasco does, is we're gonna blend it with some vinegar. Now Tabasco blends it for up to a month inside the vinegar in a big vat. Now whether that's held at a certain temperature, I'm not really sure. I bet it's very hot in that warehouse in Louisiana in the summer. It's very hot in my house in Florida in the summer. So I add my vinegar right to everything, no straining, put it back in the cabinet, and then I leave it for a month. Once they're up in that cupboard, I give them a little swirl every day, every other day, every week, hell, just whenever I remember, open it up. And after about a month, you'll see that most of that pepper matter will completely just disintegrate. And you'll maybe have some skin flakes, and you'll maybe have some seeds. And then pour it through a strainer, and then just put it in the little containers, and that's all you do. And just in case you're the type of dude that likes to pick up the bag and flip it and tumble it, you just take all of the stuff that you catch inside that strainer and spread it out into your dehydrator. You make this amazing, whatever your pepper is, crushed. I like to leave it slabbed out like this, but you could put it inside of a spice grinder if you wanted it more powdery. Now, one of the decisions you're gonna make as the creator of your hot sauce is how much vinegar you need to add. Now, I haven't quite figured this out. I got 26 grams right now of this Datil, and I want this to be a little richer, so I think I'm just gonna add the same exact amount. So I'll add another 26. We'll bring it up to 50. So that way it's 50-50. All right, we'll leave that there. 50-50 Datil and vinegar. Where the last hot sauce I made, I want to say I did 1/3 of those habaneros, and then I doubled it in vinegar. And I'm going to do that with these. So we got 46. I'm going to put, I'll put 91 in there. So this will be 1 part pepper, 3 parts vinegar. This is Tabasco. And this is probably closer to the ratios that you'll find in the actual Tabasco flagship sauce. Perf. Once I get my peppers and my vinegar together, I just kind of shake it to combine. And now this is going to continue to ferment in off gas, okay? So something I forgot to mention, and thanks for sticking to the end of the video, is you do want to open these up and burp them, okay? Now you could go all super psycho, waste your money and get airlocks and all this other stuff, but if you're just starting off, all you really need is these. Just walk around and burp it, okay? We're not making like corn mash in grandma's bathtub and blowing the place through the roof. This is from an earlier batch that I made with the habaneros, okay? So that 1 pound, if you guys are wondering about yield, that 1 pound yielded 5 of these little soufflés, which are 5 ounces each, which is exactly the size of most craft hot sauce bottles you get. So this is my fermented habanero sauce, okay? Now you can add like the X-Am gum or however they say it to kind of like homogenize it and stuff, but I mean, you're making stuff from your garden. Why would you want to add BS to it? So you see it's got a little bit of, you know, layerization there, but shake it up and this stuff is so good. And this is just a regular old craft 5 ounce hot sauce bottle of someone else's sauce that I bought. And then I always kind of, when I shop, I look for ones that have a removable shaker. That way you can take that off, makes it easy to fill. And whenever I use up whatever garbage is in there, run it through the dishwasher, put that garden fresh in there. Now they do sell different pH meters that you can use to test your hot sauce to make sure it's acidic enough, food safe, all that. I'll put a link in the description below to a one you can just buy, put a battery in, stick in there and see what your pH is. I don't really do all that, but if you want to, the link will be down there, and then I'll put the percentages that y'all are gonna wanna do if you're all paranoid of food. If you get paranoid about food, another thing that you're gonna really be paranoid about is when you go to pick out the vinegar, right? Now that first batch I made was just straight up white vinegar. Like, remember when it used to be called white wine vinegar? Well, unless you buy white wine vinegar that's mostly imported from Italy or some other country where they pay attention to their food and says that it's made with wine musk, you know what I mean? Which is basically unfermented grape juice. It's like the wort of beer to wine. If it's not made by that, then it's made with grains, which is crazy. It's the same exact way that vegetable oil is not actually vegetables. So if you're going through all the trouble to grow your peppers, blend your stuff, get your recipes down, don't dick around, get some real ass vinegar. Well, thanks a lot, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Can't wait to hear what kind of peppers you guys are growing. Thumbs up and share it to all of your hot sauce garden buddy guys. Thanks a lot.
I like making hot sauce on the YouTube, but I don't like sharing my ad revenue with